Networking and marketing made simple is for you, the business owner who has a product, a service, or a message that you believe in. My name is Scott Aaron, and each week we'll take a behind-the-scenes look into the real-world marketing and networking tactics and strategies for getting what you have in front of you to a lot more people. Thanks for spending time with me, and now let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Networking and Marketing Made Simple. Super excited for today's episode. I love doing these interview episodes just because it gives me the opportunity to not only pick the brain of other high-achieving and successful entrepreneurs like the guest I have for you all today, but also I know how much all of you that have been dedicated listeners to this podcast for nearly 4 years, how much you love hearing the journeys of what other people have gone on. And not one person that I've interviewed on this podcast since 2018 has said it's been an easy road. Not one of them has said, oh, I launched this program and 3 days later I was making $1 million. Every single person that comes on this podcast has a journey. They have pitfalls and stumbling blocks along the way that they had to grow and work through. And the person I have for you today, which I'm really excited to interview, he focuses on helping people with high-end masterminds or create high-end masterminds, but also high-ticket programs. And the one big thing that I really wanted to focus this conversation on today, and a lot of you listening, is that maybe you've never invested in a high-ticket program. Maybe you have never invested into a high-level mastermind the way that I have, the way that my guest has. But also maybe you're that person listening to this that is thinking about, what it would be like to have my own high ticket offering to my audience. What would it be like to have my own high-end mastermind where I can do more one-to-many instead of one-on-one? So with that being said and all that behind us, Chris Williams, welcome to today's episode.
Scott and all you Scott fans, oh my gosh, what a great show, right? Love this process. Dude, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So before we dig into all the things that I would like to talk about today, for my audience that is not familiar with you and, everything that you have within Group Coach Nation and all the things that you're doing as a business, tell you a little bit about yourself to the audience. But more importantly, the one thing that they love to know within that story is what you feel was that catalytic moment for you, that light bulb aha moment that has allowed you to progress down the road that you're currently on.
When you were talking about how nobody has an easy road, I was thinking, man, it'd be so fun to get on here and be able to say, well, I was born with a trust fund and mom's money really paid everything. And I don't know, I just bought an agency and then bought a mastermind, dude. It was great. Why? What are your questions?
Yeah.
I wish.
Right.
Now, here's the gig. Most of us who accomplish cool things, and I would say this to everyone listening, you all know you're accomplishing cool things. If you feel like you succeeded today, or if you feel like you're on the verge of that, or if you just had your 10th failure in a row, you're going to accomplish cool things because of the process. That's how this works. Not just in having a high ticket mastermind or a high ticket program of some sort, but the entrepreneurial journey is a journey. It's not something someone just hands to you. So for me, man, it all started back when I was running an agency, a digital marketing agency. Still own that. Dude, I was working 16-hour days, hustling, doing all the crap I shouldn't be doing, like building websites and running social media accounts for clients and all that kind of stuff, just whatever I could. And then it started blowing up, not the business. We were making money, but the life around the business, right? Family starts suffering. I got 5 kids. Everybody starts losing except the checkbook, which is really cool once you figure out how to get the checkbook to win. But then things start falling apart. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You've been there. We all had the hustle days, right? So I read this book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Everybody's read the freaking book, right?
If my wife, she's going to listen to this episode, that I wish she's upstairs in her office, but that was her catalytic book. And just to kind of just intervene just very quickly. So my wife was completely burnt out, adrenal fatigue. She was working for 2 Fortune 50 companies, working way too much, 70, 80 hours a week. And it was a culmination of she read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. and B, she was on Reddit, and this guy had shared how he left owning his accounting firm and opened up a residential house cleaning business from his phone. And she said, well, I could do that. So she put in her 2 weeks notice,
Oh my
and
gosh.
she launched and created her own residential house cleaning business from the ground up, running it from her phone, and grew it within a year and a half to $150,000 a year company. And we have since closed it, but uh, she proved the concept that she could have that work life balance. And coincidentally, the name of the company was Work Life Balance House Cleaning. So, really interesting that you brought up the 4-hour work week.
I love it. I bet, Scott, I bet so many people listening right now have read that book or have it like on their shelf collecting dust. I only know a handful of people who actually read it and then done what Tim said to do. It's like it just works. So I read it the first time and I was like, BS. Whatever. This guy's a marketer, Tim Ferriss, blah, blah, blah. Come on. Okay. So then I was like, yeah, but I'm desperate. So I remember raking the leaves out in the backyard, listening to this thing for the second time, and I was like, okay, I got to stop and take notes. And so I built this huge mind map out of everything he said to do and everywhere I was in my business. And I just started doing everything he said to do. And one thing he said to do was plan a month-long vacation within the next 6 months and do the stuff to get there. So I planned a 5-week-long vacation, our first long vacation down the coast of California surfing. And that was 4 months away. And dude, like by the time I went on vacation, I was working 2 hours a day, from 16 a day to 2 hours a day. Our income had quadrupled and my work hours were significantly better. And I wasn't trying to make more money. But what happens when you have a brain and you have space to think is you start making more money. And it changed everything. Okay, so that is how it's an entrepreneurial journey, right? That is how I went from running an agency to running a mastermind, because all of a sudden now we're taking trips all over the world with our kids and we're sitting at coffee shops in the middle of the school day and paddleboarding around our local town. And everybody's like, are you selling drugs? Because like what changed? Your life is better and you don't work now. I'm going to call the cops. So people started paying me for lunch hours or whatever to teach them how to do this. And I realized, oh my gosh, I finally have information worth selling. I launched a bunch of e-courses, wrote the ebooks, did the podcast, blah, 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 completely failed. And then I joined a high ticket mastermind of my own, not my own, one that I joined as a student in Boise, Idaho. And there's 50 other entrepreneurs in that room. They were all super successful with their low ticket and mid-tier offers. And I told them what I just told you. And they're like, cool, how's the mastermind? I was like, great, been here 45 minutes. Thank you all for letting me in. They're like, no, how's your mastermind? I was like, what? No, the one you teach. I was like, I don't have a mastermind. Like, you got to start there. So they taught me to start at the top rung of the value ladder, sell out 10 seats, get paid 15, 20 grand a seat, whatever, and use that information to cash flow and sell the entire downward side of the value ladder. And 7 weeks later, I had our first mastermind, teaching people how to run a digital agency in less than 2 hours a day. Really simple, right? Really simple.
Yeah.
Never had the light bulb go off.
It's funny because you hear the phrase value ladder all the time. And for the listeners, a value ladder is the difference of the offerings that you have to your audience. And that could be, the podcast that you have that's free to listen to, that the next rung up could be a free opt-in that you have that you talk about in that podcast episode that maybe sends them through an email sequence that at the end of that sequence, there's maybe a $7 or $19 ebook or course they can buy, which then gets them onto maybe a potential virtual course that goes to a group coaching program and so on and so on. And you always talk about it in business, top down or the end in mind. And I think you beautifully stated that and that's the same methodology that Nancy and I have with our mastermind. We have 10 seats. That's it. We open it 3 times a year. So you only have 3 opportunities to join. We work with 10 people because, again, We're big on producing big results for people.
Because it's for real. That's why, because it's real.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and the first and we learned from our mistakes. The first time that we ever opened the doors, ever, we had 27 people sign up, and yeah, from a cash flow perspective, that was incredible. It was our first 100K month, but that also led to extreme overwhelm because we didn't have the bandwidth to support 27 people. And then as we kind of trudged along through that year, we realized that 10 people was our sweet spot. And, an interview process, making people fill out an application that they were the right people for what we were offering. They had to be making a specific amount of money. They had to have certain things in place because we're not going to teach you we're not going to build your business for you. We're going to teach you how you should be building your business based off of assets that we have that you can create with our knowledge. Now, for the listeners that are listening to this, that again have considered joining a mastermind, or maybe have joined a mastermind before but it ended up being the wrong one, they had a bad experience, so they're like, you know what, I've been there, you've been there, I'm checking that off, I'm never doing that again, that was a waste of money. Let's first talk about the benefits of joining not just a mastermind, joining the right mastermind. What would you say to that person that says to you, Chris, what's the benefits of joining the right mastermind?
Let me preface all of that, Scott, with just saying to everybody listening in, notice that Scott and I do very similar things. We both lead and teach high ticket masterminds and teach you how to grow and scale and use your authority in a very profitable way. Okay. I'm saying that to say there's so many great opportunities out here in the world and great clients. Scott and I are sharing shows, and we're not worried about the fact that we're both in each other's markets. Like, oh my gosh, folks, there are amazing clients for you. Whatever your expertise is, there are enough amazing clients for you. Don't worry about scarcity. I promise the world's a big place. They're out there for you. The other side of that is there are people like me and Scott, and that's self-serving for me to say. There are people like Scott out there who run legit, real masterminds. Okay. I once bought a car. It was horrible. I once dated a person. It was horrible. I once got bit by a dog. And I've met some insanely horrible teenagers and college students. I have a dog, 4 cars, a spouse, and 5 teenagers. They're not all bad, right? And it's the same with masterminds. We've all been burnt by something in our life. And yet most of the time we go over that and we kind of go back and figure out who's the right person, the right living situation, the right space for me, and whatever product or service or friendship you're into. Now, that's how masterminds work too. Unfortunately, there are some shysters out there in every community around the world, in politics, in business, in science, in school teachers. It happens. But the thing to do is figure out, what are you trying to accomplish in your business life? Like I told you my story, join that mastermind in Boise. What are you trying to accomplish? And what is the highest rung on the value ladder that you can get to from your current position? So think about that. I wanted to learn how to sell my information. And I realized, I'm just going to drop names here. Why not? I realized, oh my gosh, I've heard about this Russell Brunson guy. I don't want to learn how to build a funnel, but this dude's figured out how to sell information. Great. I'm going to go after that one. So I went after Russell Brunson's mastermind. And I reached up to the highest possible rung I could get my hands on. And I tried to get in the mastermind, and I got in. It's expensive, folks, but find the person who knows what you need to know and that you've like followed and tracked and got referred to or stalked enough online to figure out, I like this person, I like their style, and figure out what they're doing and what is the most access and most connection you can get to real change, and buy it. Like, get there. Because here's the alternative. You could do like me and I spent literally 5 years, Scott, figuring out all this low ticket stuff before I joined Russell's mastermind. And it took me 7 weeks once I was just in a room. It wasn't Russell Brunson. It was the people in the room he put together. They were like, dude, you're just doing it wrong. No worries. Come over here. Let's talk it out. And boom, I was done. So all that to say, if you've been hurt, I'm so sorry. That makes me mad because Scott and I are in this world and we know there are awesome people. And I wish we could shove the bad people out, but it just doesn't work that way. Find your person, find the thing you got to learn, reach to the highest level of that opportunity you can personally afford and get to right now and take advantage of it, and don't waste your life and your time.
So mindset is a big part of all of this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you read the 4 Hour Work Week, there's two trains of thoughts. The first train of thought is, oh, if he did it, I can do it. It's like the Roger Bannister method, right?
Yeah,
He was the first one to break the 4 minute mile barrier. Everybody said it was impossible.
everybody's doing it.
He proved it. Everyone's doing it. The other train of thought, they read the 4 Hour Work Week and they're like, bullshit. There's no way that's going to happen. That's impossible. Even if he's done it, that's not duplicatable. So we don't work 4 hours a week, but Nancy and I have put strict um, uh, hours of operation. We only work 3 days a week now. We're off 4 days a week. We work Tuesday, Thursdays, or Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. That's it. We're off Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's working for us right now really well. And mindset has played a lot into that because we said to ourselves, it's possible if we put the parameters in place, if we put that CEO schedule in place where we can't take calls on Wednesdays or Fridays. No one can access that to our schedule. It's not there. You know,
Yeah.
we're you know, if someone emails us over the weekend, they get an autoresponder. We will reply to this first thing Monday morning, you know, after 10 a.m. So you can create whatever balance or harmony you want, but it really starts with your mindset. So the person that's listening to this says, I hear what you guys are saying because like you, Nancy and I are always looking to up level our tribe, and that it wasn't the person who was teaching in that mastermind necessarily. Yeah, the information was important, but it was more of the collective group that came together where you put all those amazing minds together, where you're networking and collaborating and creating things that a lot of those compounded things are then churned out on the other side. But talk about how important the right mindset is to have for when you're looking to not only leverage the mastermind you're a part of, but what you need to squeeze out of it, but then implement that into your own business.
Yeah, two things about mindset for me, Scott, and I'm sure people resonate with this. One is I wake up almost every day with a serious case of imposter syndrome. Like I've been doing this for, I don't know, 5 years now, and I think by now, I guess 5 years ago, I thought once I sell out my first mastermind, I'll know I got it. Whatever. Once you sell out your 10th one, you're going to worry about your 11th one. Like it's just part of human nature. So I wake up with that every day. I got to work on that. I have a sticky note right here on my computer, and I am not a sticky note guy. There is one sticky note in my life, and it's this one. And it just walks me through who I am and what I know I'm able to do every day. And that's what I do. I execute today and I get to work. Now, that's first step for me. The second thing is when I'm investing in a program, I'm looking for, again, who's the expert I want to be like? They've already cracked the code on it and they're putting real stuff out there. Awesome. I'm going to get to the highest point on their value ladder that I can afford to get to. Here's how I decide, can I really afford that? Like, that's expensive. I'm looking for a clear path, enough assurance going into it, not like a guarantee, but like enough assurance where I can say, I'm about to drop 10, 20, 100 grand, 500,000, whatever on this project, learning, buying systems, whatever it all, getting a new team member, whatever it costs. Here's all the costs. Here's all the time. Am I likely to double my money within 12 months? And I'm saying double my money within 12 months. That is a low watermark for me. If it's not going to double in 12 months, I'm out. As entrepreneurs, if you're not going to double your money on something in 12 months, honestly, go invest in a mutual fund. Pick something easier. It's not worth the pain. But if you get with the right educator in the right community and have the right tools set at your disposal, you can do it. Now, I'm only speaking to the people who are trying to learn some business money-making skill, time management, money-making, marketing, sales, whatever. It's a little tougher when you're like, it's weight loss, personal development, relationship healing, things like that. But even in those spaces, coming from a person who's been through a lot of therapy, you can look at a good therapist or a good program and even there say, this is worth it. It's going to be painful and cost me a lot of money, but my relationship with so and so is going to be significantly better a year from now if I change me and practice my part of this. That's all we can do as entrepreneurs too. What can I do? How can I influence my market? How can I change my team? Those are things under my control. And that's an important realization to make. Calculate that, talk it out with that coach, like understand what's going on, be critical about this decision. And then once you make the decision, freaking close the door and own it. Like get in the car and drive.
Now, we both know the importance of taking action. But there's a lot of people that, when they're about to join a mastermind or they're in a mastermind, there is some hand holding that's involved because, people have to learn the ropes of what's being taught in that mastermind. But the one thing that I always like to clarify with people when they are investing into a mastermind or they're considering joining a mastermind, that the instructor or the host of that mastermind is only responsible for so much. It is a 50-50 partnership. The 50% partnership of the person who's running the mastermind, they're responsible for teaching you exactly what it is that you came there to learn, to obviously apply to your business. The 50% of your agreement of being a part of that mastermind is to implement and take action on what you're learning. So what's your message to those individuals that have maybe been a part of masterminds or considering joining a mastermind, but are kind of afraid of, like, well, can I take the action? Will I take the action? And, we know the finger pointing game, right? They join a mastermind. They don't show up to the Q&A calls. They don't log into the portal to go through the trainings. They don't come into the guest trainings. They don't utilize the Facebook community to ask questions. What's your message to the person that kind of has taken that route and then is looking to blame others for their lack of accountability? But also your message to that person that's thinking, like, do I have what it takes to take action and apply what I've learned?
Yeah. Scott, I've been trying to get more fit the past 3 or 4 years. During the pandemic, quite honestly, my bad. My habits weren't so great. I'm honest enough to call it what it is. It's not my personal trainer and not my workout buddy's fault. I'm eating shit. Okay. Call it. If you can't admit that, you shouldn't be in a mastermind. You're going to waste your money. Don't waste your teammates' time and your coach's time. That's that. If you're sitting there saying, though, no, I really want this. I'm just scared I'll fail. What if I can't? What if it's too hard? But I really want it. You got this. Like step up. Again, interview the coach who's in charge of the mastermind. Ask about the people in the mastermind. Like see what's going on. You're going to need support. But if you're willing to do your part, you will get there. It might not happen overnight. It might not happen in 90 days. It might not happen the first year. You will get there. Show up, do the work, trust the process, and keep after it. And keep being, I think the number one word here is vulnerability. You got to find a group that you're willing to trust enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to show up here and be cool and market myself in this mastermind. I'm going to show up here and say, I don't know how to do this. I need help. Here's where I failed yesterday. How do I fix that? Just freaking be honest and fix it.
I could not agree more. And it's one of those things where you have to lean into that fear. I remember the first mastermind that Nancy and I invested in was about 4.5 years ago, 4 years ago or so. And I'll never forget, she said, how much is it going to cost us if you don't sign up for this? And that was a big aha moment for me, because when you're staring down the barrel of a $30,000 investment, when you're not necessarily bringing in $30,000 a month, it becomes not so much a stretch, but a shift in your money mindset. And I said to her, I said, you're right. If we don't do this, how different is our business going to be a year from now if I don't align myself? And I attribute that mastermind to not so much what I learned about growing our own mastermind, but the value of investing in oneself to get into a room or to be a part of an online, very special, intimate community with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris, what do you feel, now running your own masterminds and doing all of these things, moving away from that digital marketing agency model to now running your own and teaching others? What's been the biggest lesson learned in where you were as far as running the agency, working too many hours, to now running the mastermind side of things, but also teaching others how to do the same, that you really want to let that message or that big lesson shine so other people can understand?
It's absolutely all about the community. You said it a minute ago, and I just want to pull that out again. And I mentioned it with the other mastermind I mentioned earlier. It is always about the people in the room. As a mastermind leader, maybe 10% of the awesome results that come out of our mastermind are me. I know that 90% come from the people that we carefully select to put in the room together. And Scott, you know this, the coolest thing about leading masterminds, and all we do is teach people how to build masterminds. So we just teach people how to do what we're doing. The coolest thing about building masterminds, Scott, is not how much money you make or how much free time you have. You freaking get to hang out with geniuses all the time. Like, I am so giddy on Thursdays when it's mastermind teaching day because I love turning on the Zoom camera and being like, I can't believe these people want to hang out with me every freaking time. Love it. And they get to hang out with each other and they're changing each other's worlds.
When you put the right people together, amazing and incredible things end up happening. So,
Mm-hmm.
Chris, before we wind down and I get to my final question, if someone is interested in learning about what it is that you do in Group Coach Nation and how they can find out more about you and the programs you have, the mastermind that you run, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Yeah, dude, we have cool stuff starting this week. So, like, I'm so excited about this. So, go to groupcoachnation.com, just groupcoachnation.com, and you'll find out right there on the homepage exactly where to start. Like, if you're sorting out, I think I have an expertise, or I know I do, and I want a mastermind or group coaching program, that's the place. Like, just wait and see. Go see what we got, groupcoachnation.com.
Awesome. So that information obviously will be in the description of the episode, as well as the show notes. So you guys aren't going to have to travel too far to find that. So, Chris, final question before we sign off: what does success truly mean to you?
Freedom. I have one word tattooed on me, one tattoo. I see you have a few. I have the word free tattooed on the inside of this bicep, left arm. That's what it's out for me, man. It's relationship freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, just the space to live and create opportunity and memories with the people I love and the communities I want to serve. And figuring out an entrepreneurial model that allows that to happen has been life-changing.
Could not agree more. Nancy and I talk about it all the time. Success is a feeling, but it's being able to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, whenever you want. And again, I go back to Roger Bannister. If people are living a free life right now, they've created time freedom, they've created monetary freedom. So can you. Chris,
Yeah.
thank you again so much for being here today. Grateful for you and all the wisdom and the information that you shared, and looking forward to future connection and collaboration.
I want to say one more thing, Scott, as we wrap up here. You guys listening to Scott, you're listening to this show. Think about what I've just said. You found your person. You're obviously tuning into multiple episodes. Like, reach out to these guys. If they've got something you want fixed and you know, oh my gosh, they've got it, talk to them. Ask them, here's my problem. Do you have a solution? And what's the most access to that solution I could get today? That's where this starts. There's no commitment. I don't get a commission for saying this stuff. I'm just, as a student of masterminds, I know how it works. Start the process to change your life. Find your person and lean in.
Well, and guys, I did not pay him to say that. He said that on his own. So, Chris, I appreciate you so much, and the kind words, and really looking forward to people digging into this episode, and just appreciate you, and thank you again for being here today. So, everyone, as always, wherever you're listening to this to and from, whether it's Spotify, iTunes. Do not forget to leave a rating and review. Let us know what you loved most and took away from this episode, and also what you would like to see more of within this podcast so we can continue to provide the best value and information to you. So everyone, please enjoy the rest of your days, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much again for checking out today's episode. And if you are listening through iTunes, Spotify, wherever you are, please leave me a rating and review. Let me know what you loved, what you would like to see improved, or ideas you have for future episodes. And if you are interested in taking your business to the next level, don't hesitate to go to my website, www.scottaaron.net, where you can schedule a free discovery call with me, where I can learn more about you, your business, what you're struggling with, and how we can work together. And don't forget to check out my wife, Nancy, and mine, our free community on Facebook called LinkedIn Leads for Life. We would love to see you in there. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you everyone for your support. Grateful for each and every one of you.